guys. How's it going? Ooh, I want my blanket. It's a little bit chilly. I figured I would hop on here. I gotta go run in a little bit and go pick up kids. We've got girls over at a friend's house. Did y'all see this? I actually have a zit popping out here. Actually, let me rephrase that. I don't think it's a zit. I think it's an oxalate coming out of my face. Yeah. That's fun. I had oxalates pushing out of my teeth and my gums earlier last night. They were hurting so much. I was laying in bed trying not to clench my jaw because my teeth and my jaw were hurting so much. Remember one of the things, I'm gonna turn on my fire. Here we go. Remember one of the things I heard Sally Norton say was, if ever you get a toothache and you think you're oxalate dumping, do not rush to the doctor to have your tooth pulled or anything like that. Yeah, the oxalates can do that. So my jaw was really hurting last night. So tell me who's here, who's watching, where you are, and then I would love to answer some of you guys' questions if you have any. If not, I'll just ramble for a little while. I drank my 1 cup of coffee this morning and just ate pork belly. Then I had, what else did I have? There was something else I had. Oh, we have some leftover strawberry shortcake donuts. So I had one of those with some whipped cream. And now I'm just drinking water. Not sure what else I'm going to eat today. I made some chicken salad the other day, but it shredded. Like, I actually prefer the chunky chicken, slightly larger chunks of chicken, and it completely shredded. So it's like this paste. Not entirely sure I'm going to finish that because it doesn't have a great consistency. It's not fantastic. It is, let me see. It is actually 40 degrees outside right now, which is insane. It's like the warmest it's been all year, but it's also raining. So not super fabulously happy on the rain, but that doesn't mean it's warming up. Hi. Yeah, I just figured I'd come and hang out for a little while with you guys, see if you guys had any questions. This morning, I hosted the Rivero community meeting because Sean is traveling. So I did that. We ended up talking about so much stuff over there, just so many topics. Of course, we ended up on iodine. Don't we always end up on iodine? Cindy says, hello from Arizona. Thank you for the interview with Sally Norton and the doctor about food additives. Both were very informative. Oh, you're very welcome. 51 and sunny in Bellingham, Washington. I'm so ready for spring. Normally, I'm all good with winter and I'm over it. That's enough. I keep forgetting to link down below in my videos the fundraiser to begin raising funds to do the studies on artificial dyes is live. We have it up and going. It's over at Give Send Go. I will have to link that down below, put it in my description of my videos so that it automatically puts it in there. If you guys are able, please consider going and donating to that. We have a ways to go before we raise the funds, but we have people that are ready and willing to do the tests. And I would love to be part of the movement. I would love for all of us to be part of the movement to get artificial dyes out of our food and out of our home products and just clean up all of our everything that's in our houses because it makes such a huge difference. Yeah, over at on the Rivero community meeting, we talked about cholesterol. We talked about, of course, iodine, always iodine. And then I got a message on YouTube. Let me see this. Sherry, hi from Franklin, Tennessee. Hi. My eyes and lips are always seem to be drier and more irritable than normal. Have you noticed any changes in this with the addition of extra iodine? I actually have had quite a few people comment in the iodine workshop. There's a group on Facebook. It's called the Iodine Workshop. And one of the requirements to joining this group is that you have either read Dr. Brownstein's book or Lynn Farrow's book. And then they ask you to read everything before you comment in the group. There's actually quite a few people that have mentioned that. And they attribute it to the bromide detox. So for some people, taking the companion nutrients will help get rid of those symptoms. I've also, I had to start taking magnesium again. I was going to go with Judy Cho's approach, her recommendation. She said, with us keto carnivore people, we probably don't need to take the companion nutrients, at least not in the amounts that Dr. Brownstein was talking about. So I figured I would try it. And I ended up getting leg cramps again. They had been gone for probably at least 6 months. And so I figured there probably is something to the needing magnesium. I went back on the magnesium. I think my lips were actually drier when I wasn't doing the magnesium. So you might want to consider doing the companion nutrients if you are having those types of side effects. You also might want to look at doing the pause. They talk about doing the iodine for 5 days, and then you stop for 2 days on the weekend. You continue to intake more salt and your companion nutrients to support your liver and your kidneys while you detox, so that it gets rid of the bromide and gives your body a little bit of a break to deal with the bromide that's already loose. Then you start the iodine again come, say, Monday. So that may help with the dry skin and the peeling lips, is to add the companion nutrients and then give your body a break on the weekends. How's it going? Left a like. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Thank you. My fireplace, we bought the first year we moved here, which last year, the first year we moved into the house, we ran out of propane. We didn't know that you had to set the greenhouse a certain way. And we let the, at the time, 18-year-old set the greenhouse, and she set it to 72. And then she set the exhaust to 68. So it literally ran solid for 3 months or 2 months. And we completely ran out of propane. And we didn't know what was going on, why the house was so cold. It was freezing. And it was 2 days before we could get propane. They ended up getting it to us 24 hours later, but they had told us 2 days that we were going to have to wait. So we went to, I think it was Fleet Farm, and we got this guy, and it's not cheap to run. He's not cheap to run. So he's not heating right now. He's just being pretty because I like the ambiance that he adds. Y'all, I've got oxalates coming out in my voice. It's ridiculous. I have a pregnant friend who wants to go more meat-based while breastfeeding, but she hasn't liked any of the electrolyte drinks I have had her try. See, she has seizures when dehydrated, so I worry. I would worry too, 100%. For some people, just adding more salt is enough. Some people do fine without electrolytes. I would definitely recommend electrolytes while breastfeeding. And also she needs to make sure she goes really slowly. Moving over to more meat-based, I think she will do fantastic, but any dramatic shift in your diet can affect your milk supply. So doing it low and slow basically is the best way to do it. And let me see, our favorite electrolytes are the Element chocolate. We make hot chocolates with them every night. And I like the mango habanero. It's got some kick to it, but it's not really overpowering. Plus, you can add it to more water. Richard loves the orange. It tastes like Tang to me. And I hated Tang. I always hated Tang. So he loves it. I can't stand it. The Redmond's Relight Pina Colada is fantastic. You can actually make a pina colada for breastfeeding. That would be a really fun thing to do with coconut water. Yes, it's got some more carbs in it, but coconut water is extremely hydrating, especially for women when they are breastfeeding. So coconut water, you could like par freeze it or put some ice in there as well, and then a scoop of the pina colada Redmond's Relight. Oh my goodness. So good and creamy. And then you could put some whipped coconut cream on top or whipped cream on top if you can do dairy. Then that might be another way to get her to like the electrolytes. So there's so many flavors, like so many flavors. It's hard to recommend just a few of them. But those are some ideas. Yeah, let's not. And the coconut water, it will have more carbs in it, but that will also help her retain the electrolytes better. So I really wouldn't be too worried about it as long as it's unsweetened. I'm in my 60s and I have had horrible acne since starting keto 4 years ago. I thought it was my rosacea, but now I think it's oxalate dumping. It's so hard to manage. Y'all, 2 nights in a row, Richard has had to get up out of bed and go downstairs and eat some chocolate. The oxalate dumping is so bad right now. My jaw hurts. I've got this little guy coming out right here, like our backs, our skin, my eyes. I've got them coming out of my eyes. It is insane. Like it is so frustrating. We are really struggling right now. I think I might go get some black tea and start making iced tea again. It is that bad. The dumping is seriously bad, and I've heard years 3 to 5 can be especially brutal for certain people. Oh, speaking of which, I got one right there on my shoulder. That's nice. Yeah. So he has had to get up a couple of times in the middle of the night. It was probably midnight to go eat some chocolate because he was itching from head to toe. Everything itches. It's insane. So yeah, my little spot right here. Yep, that little I had one little oxalate push out of it earlier, but there's more in it. I can feel it. So nice. Do I eat berries? Sometimes, especially in the summertime. We have 26 acres in Wisconsin, and there are countless berry bushes on my property. We have blueberries, we have blackberries, we have raspberries, we have mulberries. I do not have strawberries, but we do have a lot of berries. I will walk outside this house and I will pop some berries into my mouth. I like to eat them seasonally. One of the things about oxalates specifically is that our bodies are used to getting a bunch of them from berries, especially raspberries are really high in oxalates. Our bodies are used to getting a large dose of oxalates in the summertime and maybe even in the fall. And then through the winter, we would not obviously eat oxalates winter and spring. We wouldn't eat them. Our bodies would have a break. They would get rid of them. And they would kind of go through this cycle of I have more oxalates, I don't. And then I have them and then I don't. And then you can detox pretty well. Berries, adding berries can actually slow down the oxalate dumping, the detox. So that can help. I allow all of my kids to eat berries. I try to limit the raspberries because they are so high in oxalates. Strawberries are funny because sometimes they test really low in oxalates and sometimes they test really high in oxalates. So it's kind of a risk with strawberries. Blackberries are a little bit up there. Blueberries are the safest ones. I will put some on my keto yogurt. I just found Chobani Complete. It is a Greek keto yogurt and it has chicory root fiber, and stevia and monk fruit to sweeten it, I believe. It's a vanilla flavor. It's actually really good. It's got that really nice tart tang to it. That sometimes I will put some strawberries into that and eat that. Just kind of whatever I feel like. I keep my carbs to under 30 a day. That is absolutely my max. Usually I don't even get up to 20 because I just don't feel very good. Hello from Quebec, Canada. 27 degrees and sunny. Enjoy the sun. It's overcast and kind of yucky today. Oh my goodness. Just started the iodine drops, 2 to 3 drops a day. Sounds about right. Watch a Dr. Berry YouTube video. I love Dr. Berry's YouTube videos. Everyone should get very familiar with Dr. Berry's YouTube videos. Dr. Berry is who I learned about iodine from. I thought, why not? We need iodine. Fantastic. And I went with his regimen of just 2 to 3 drops a day for about a year. And then I had 3 people reach out to me through YouTube because of my hair thinning videos. And they said, hey, when I upped my iodine, I stopped falling out. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, I take enough. That's fine. Then one of the people in my Mighty network, she asked, what is iodine and do I need it? And I said, okay, you know what? I'm tired of parroting what other people have said. I am tired of repeating what I have been told by someone else. It's third-party information at this point in time. I really want to go and do some research myself on iodine. That is when I found Lynn Farrow's book, The Iodine Crisis. And I listened to that. It's a 4.5-hour listen at 1.4 speed because she reads really slowly. So it gets it over with very quickly. Absolutely worth it. My mind was blown. If half of what's in that book is true, then I think everybody needs to listen to it and try it for themselves because I think some people would be able to find amazing benefits. Some people are actually reversing their type 2 diabetes with iodine alone, not by changing their diet and going low carb. So that tells me that iodine in the cell affects the insulin receptor in the cell as well. So I think that there's a lot more to iodine than even is being discussed or what we fully understand and what these books are promoting. So I highly recommend that you read the book. So I read the book, I upped my iodine, and I told everyone about it in my Mighty network, and I've talked about it on YouTube and in my Facebook group. And I have been getting so many reports back from people with the incredible transformations that they are getting from taking the iodine. I have heard half a dozen older men report back, including my cousin's dad, report back that at the age of 70 something, he's not getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom at all anymore. It's been weeks. And he's just one of many that I have heard this from. The hair stops falling out. My hair is barely shedding now. I mean, barely. Maybe like 5 little things come out in the shower every single time. Yes. So somebody do me a favor. Look down below in the description on this video afterwards and click on it. I put my Amazon storefront. I'm trying to figure this out. Indigo Neely's walking me through it because I don't know what I'm doing. So I put my storefront down there, and if you click on that link, it should take you to my storefront, and there should be, right now, there's only 3 little sections. One of them is strawberry donuts, and then there is Hawaiian sweet rolls and iodine. If you click on the iodine list, it should pop up with the type of iodine that you can get on Amazon, plus 2 of the books. The Iodine Crisis by Lynn Farrow, the one that got me hooked on it, and then Iodine by Dr. Brownstein. So check and see if it's down there, because hopefully it'll be down there. And then you guys will be able to go and see what those look like. And that is my affiliate link. So if you order from it, then it helps me. So thank you. So back up. Yeah, it was a little brutal last year. It was cold. Man, was it cold. Thank goodness we have heated mattress pads. That is how we survived. Yes. Dr. Berry, and he's spoken on this before. He says, he's not sure that he agrees with Dr. Brownstein. If you want to try it, go ahead. But he himself says, yeah, I'm not the expert on iodine. Yes, we need it, but there's debate on how much. So I think this is one of the situations where everyone really needs to try it for themselves and doing it carefully, because it's not like vitamin C where you can just take copious amounts of it and you'll pee out whatever you don't use. This will have negative consequences if you do not do it carefully. So educating yourself before you jump in is super important. Nutrition with Judy Cho. She has 2 interviews, one with Lynn Farrow and one with Dr. Brownstein, talking about this. For more information on top of the iodine crisis, I have reached out to both Dr. Brownstein and Lynn Farrow, and I'm waiting on responses from them. And hopefully, I will be able to get them to come onto my channel as well so we can continue the education. Just finished watching my last video. Loved it. Oh, thank you. I was so worried that I was just rambling. I was so worried that because I was editing out all of my pauses and breaks and whatnot. And I was really worried I was rambling. Blue Dove. Yeah, I had her try chocolate salt. She said it made her want to throw up. You gotta get used to that one. It's weird. I'm ordering her some Ultima, but I feel like those aren't strong enough. If she went full carnivore, Kelly Hogan never takes any electrolytes. She went through 3 pregnancies. She did breastfeeding all while carnivore and never touched any electrolytes. Your friend might be okay without it. If you can find a flavor that she likes, then I would say, yeah. But she might be one of those that's okay. Briar Rose. Oh, we just tried the Element Sampler. Thought they were yucky. Only my husband was able to drink the citrus because he is used to weird flavored stuff. I can handle the unflavored sometimes. Element, I honestly like better for putting in other things. So shrimp with the mango habanero sprinkled on top, or the chili lime, it's like a chili lime, chili something, chili. I don't remember. Those are fantastic sprinkled on shrimp. Like, they are so good and they bring so much flavor to it. Or doing a Mexican recipe with chicken, something like it brings a ton of flavor. If you want to use them to make gummies, fantastically. Yes, they're a little weird because they're salty, but the watermelon gummies are really refreshing in the summertime. They're weird. Sometimes it takes a while to get used to them, which is why some people just go with Soleil water and call it good because they don't like all that stuff. Yes, Dr. Berry recommends 1 drop, was using 3 drops for the last 3 weeks because Lugol's didn't give directions. So I will let you guys know what I am taking, but please do not go out and do what I am doing. Do not start taking the amount that I am taking without doing your research, without listening to the books, because bromide detox is a real thing. You feel like you have the flu, you feel horrible, you have to give your body a break. So I have been doing this for a little while. I am up to, I'm not doing the 2% anymore because we got in our 20%. So I am now up to 75 milligrams, not micrograms, milligrams of iodine a day. That is a lot. And the only reason I am on 75 is because the dropper is not very precise. And I go to do 2 drops and it does 3 drops. That is why I'm on 75 and not 50. But I feel really good here. So I think I'm going to stay here for a little while. I may drop it back down to the 50 and see how I do. Dr. Brownstein recommends 50 milligrams for 1 year. And that is to fully detox your body of bromide and support the thyroid and all of your other organs and glands while you are detoxing and refilling and replenishing the iodine. And then after 1 year, He says many people can drop back down to 12.5 milligrams. So it's not a very large dose. It is still milligrams, not micrograms. Some people have done the iodine and they haven't noticed a lick of difference. Then don't do it. That's fine. Everyone is different, and I know some people who are absolutely getting amazing results with this. Have you ever had your grass-fed beef taste fishy? Happened to me last week. Heard it was the omega-3s. I've been eating grass-fed on and off for 2 years and never tasted the fishy taste before. Y'all, it's funny. Grass-fed beef has a different flavor, but then there is a range of different flavors. And hi, Nisha, my darling. It's kind of, okay, it's one of those things. Y'all do not have to eat grass-fed beef. If you can afford grass-fed beef and you like grass-fed beef, then please, by all means, get grass-fed beef. If you can support a local rancher, do that, because it is so helpful to the planet. It is helpful to your local neighbors. And I think that getting to know people around you and forming a community where you are is super, super important. I have had several people in the past week reach out to me privately and say, I can't afford grass-fed beef. Should I even bother trying? And my answer is yes. And I'm going to quote Dr. Berry again here. Even the cheapest, crappiest meat from the grocery store, whether it's hot dogs or bologna or the cheapest eggs or the cheapest ground beef, is 1,000 times healthier than anything else you're going to get in a package in the middle of the store. Keep that in mind, because even the crappiest meat is still healthier than the other packaged stuff. It's healthier than the plant-based stuff. It doesn't have to be grass-fed, grass-finished, panda massaged from your local Mega Mart or from your local rancher. Dude, seriously, I just want you eating meat. I want you moving in the right direction. Any step in the right direction is a huge bonus. I cannot stand grass-finished meat. I can't. Like, I will have 3 bites and I am done with it. Eat what you like. Find the meat that you like that you can handle. If you like chicken, eat the chicken. If you want beef, eat the beef. I've also had people come out and say, well, I heard chicken's inflammatory, so I can't eat that. I eat mostly chicken, and that is because I like it and I want it. And right now I'm fine with it. So do what you want to do, try it. And if it doesn't work, then you can make some changes. But yes, I've had the fishy taste. Yeah, nope, I'm not a fan. I'm that actually became dog food. That entire cow became dog food because we could not handle it anymore. Any recommendations of a good body lotion after being in chlorinated pool water? Oh, chlorinated pool water. I have this thing with chlorinated pool water. Did you know on those chlorine test strips, when you go to test the water and you look, there's the chlorine, and then right next to that, it's bromide. So we're talking about the iodine and the fact that bromide plugs up your iodine receptors. Bromide is in that. It's in asthma medications. It's so many places, y'all. Like, I had no idea. So the best body lotions that I have heard of, I'm going to be real, I don't use body lotion at all because I have really, really moist skin. We have really oily skin in my family. We're super blessed in some ways, I guess, in that way. But tallow lotion. You can go on Etsy. You can go on, I don't know about Amazon. I'm sure there probably is some, but that would be questionable. But Etsy, or you can go to sometimes even local farmers from like farmers markets. They will have something like that. Tallow lotion is different than just taking the tallow right off of the, pan and rubbing it on yourself. But tallow is fantastic for your skin. Oh my gosh. It's always something. isn't it? Yes. No. It's not time yet. We have 2 of our kids over at a friend's house. They are playing and having fun now that they are all better. And so we're making sure that everything's good. All right. I left an old doctor. Yeah, right. Yeah, so try tallow lotion. Making sure that you're eating lots of good animal fats will also help build your skin from the inside with really good fats, fatty acids to help protect you, because good skin is made from the inside. Even though, yes, we're attacked from the outside with the chlorine, you might find that changing or upping your fat intake might help as well, but the tallow lotion. What does the oxalate crystal look like? Like a shard of glass? I have only had some headaches, but mostly tons of oxalate diarrhea. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Very rough. Went off iodine 48 hours ago, a couple of different times. Yes. So in regards to oxalates, there's actually several different forms. Some of them look like long needles. They look like spears, and others of them look like the head of an ancient mace with like all the little spikes going out all over the ball. They look like that too. So there's a couple of different forms, and the clusters of them kind of end up together. Sometimes they have the calcium oxide, so they have the calcium with them. Those are the ones that kind of are whiter. Those are the ones that like will push out of your skin and it looks like a really hard pimple. I got one coming out of my eye the other day. Strangest thing ever. But the diarrhea, that's fun. That is, yeah. Lemon juice. If you take lemon juice, can help to round out the edges of the oxalates themselves so that they're not as painful when they're moving through your system or coming out. And it can even help to dissolve some stones, like the calcium oxalate stones. It can help. So increasing your lemon juice, that's one way to help. And then you can also do black tea, has quite a few oxalates in it. So 1 cup of black tea or 1 square of super dark chocolate, anywhere from 85 to 100% dark chocolate, that can slow down your oxalate dumping. If that's something that you think that you want to do, like I said, my poor husband had to get up 2 nights in a row to go eat some chocolate because the oxalate dumping was so bad. Dr. Berry video to watch you live when you noticed it. Let me see. I'm back to 20 drops iodine. I feel fantastic on the high doses, and I need to warn. I'm still trying to warn everybody. Do not start doing this without educating yourself first. Like this is kind of some serious stuff. Neely actually, when she did her Wellness Wednesday update, she talked about their bromide detox. It is not a joke. It is a real thing. And I think some people could really benefit from the higher levels of iodine. Some people absolutely do not need it. But figuring out where you fit and what you need is part of your journey. Yes, the iodine book will be it's called The Iodine Crisis, 4.5-hour listen on Audible or paperback from Amazon. It is in my store. Hopefully my Amazon store is up and working now. I don't know. I messaged Neely. I was like, please tell me what to do. Is there an issue consuming animal PUFAs? Most of the PUFA studies show the inflammation from processed seed PUFA oils and not sustainable. Okay, 100%. There is a big difference between PUFAs in animals and PUFAs in the seed oils, specifically and from plants. Just like, did y'all know that there are trans fats in meat? In animal products, there are trans fats, but they are naturally occurring. And y'all know, as soon as we humans start to play scientist, we kind of screw some stuff up because the trans fats that we created margarine, those types of things are nasty and they are really bad for you. It's kind of the same thing with these PUFAs. The PUFAs that are in pork or chicken, they are not nearly as inflammatory as the ones from the seed oils. So you really do not need to worry about those as much. Now, if you find that eating a lot of pork or eating a lot of chicken does cause you some inflammation, that can be from the PUFAs. It can be from a bunch of other stuff too. Honestly, it can be what the animal is fed. We have started noticing that commercial chicken, I cannot pressure cook it to make broth because I gag every time I open it. You can smell how they were raised. And I had a rancher friend that actually said that. She goes, you can smell how the animal was raised when you cook it. And she was 100% right. So that also could be it, because commercial animals are not, chicken and pigs especially, they don't have the 4 chambers of the stomach to be able to break down a lot of the stuff in the plants, and they end up storing it in their fat as well. So more of those toxins can come through on chicken and pork. Granted, chicken isn't super fatty. A lot of people say it is, but it's not. So do not worry about the PUFAs in the animals. You can adjust later on if you need to. And some people find that they do better on a lot of beef. Richard is that way. I actually don't do super well on a lot of beef. Briar Rose, I just ordered more iodine last night. I did not know you had a link. Oh, girl, it's all right. I am tech-tarded at best. So, no, it's totally okay. Yes, those are excellent interviews. Okay, so chronic cystitis, I'm assuming you mean urinary tract infections. Urinary tract infections, a lot of the times they can come from a lot of places. Recently, of course, my focus has been a lot on oxalates and on iodine. A lot of urinary tract infections have actually been resolved by fixing those 2 things. Upping the iodine slowly. A lot of people reported that their urinary tract infections are completely gone now and that they haven't come back. They've had them chronically their entire lives and that they are gone now. And then on the other side, oxalates can be a cause of urinary tract infections. It also could be yeast that has gotten up in there. I mean, it's not really a closed system down there. Sometimes some cross-contamination gets in there. But if it's chronic, I am assuming that it is from urinary tract infections, and they're happening all the time, consistently. That happened to me when I first went keto. I actually got 2 or 3 UTIs. And of course, everyone's like, oh, see, keto is bad for you. You have to stop. But I was like, no, I think this is my body detoxing and stuff like that. So there's a couple of different things that you could look at, is reading the iodine crisis, and then looking at, if you're keto, how many oxalate veggies are you eating? Or are you eating a lot of nuts, a lot of almond flour, a lot of almond milk? You might want to look at reducing the amount that you are taking in. Or if you are a carnivore, you might want to look at bringing in some either black tea or some dark chocolate to slow down the dumping issues. So there's a couple of different options that you could try to approach from. You just ate shrimp today too. That is too funny. I started Relight Pina Colada a few weeks ago, waiting on the Lugol's. Will it have a taste, as I was planning on adding 1 to 2 drops to the water to start? If you don't ever do this, people, do not ever take your iodine and drop it directly on or under your tongue. It's horrible. It tastes like sucking on pennies, and it burns a little bit too. So don't do that. Some people have done that. It does have a taste, but if you drink coffee, I put it in my coffee in the morning. You can put it into water, especially if you're adding electrolytes, it'll cover up the taste. Or if you're going to have, 3 of these a day, then spread it out in the morning. Try to consume your iodine before noon. because it does give you a lot of energy. And I made the mistake once of having some extra iodine at 6 o'clock at night. And at midnight, I was still bouncing off the walls. So be careful when you take your iodine. Pina colada is so good. I need to make the mock pina colada. That's what I need to do. I need to go get some coconut water. Yes, it'll have more carbs, but that's okay. Do you think that a woman's age has something to do with the need for iodine? 62 and really feel the best I have ever felt. How would I know if I needed iodine? So, according to the book, according to a lot of people in this space, we all know that we are deficient in iodine. And that is because iodine doesn't exist in our soil anymore. We do not eat the same amount of seafood that we used to. There's also a lot of contamination in our waterways, in our oceans, between Chernobyl and Fukushima and the oil spills and the surfactants that we're pouring down into the water to clean up everything, the microplastics. There's a lot of stuff. So most of us are iodine deficient, quite iodine deficient. Every single cell in your body, which is trillions of cells, has a sodium iodine receptor. What ends up happening because we have reduced our intake of iodine is that a lot of those receptors actually atrophy or they become blocked and plugged up with bromine and bromide. Bromide is found in your carpet. It is the fire retardant that is sprayed on mattresses, on sleepwear, on your curtains, in your car upholstery. It is also found in BVO, brominated vegetable oil, which is in all kinds of products in the store. It is in Mountain Dew, it is in traditional bread. Lots of wheat has been treated with bromide. So we are exposed to this. Bromide is a toxin in higher quantities. It's used actually to treat Agent Orange exposure, but then you have to treat the bromide exposure after that. And the best way to do that is actually to salt it out of a person. And you detox bromide through your liver and through your kidneys. So you have to go slowly when detoxing. Um, a lot of people, a lot of older people, I would say over 40, find a lot of benefit from adding iodine into their diet. And it can be as little as the few drops of the Lugol's 2%, or as much as, y'all get this, 125 milligrams a day is where some people have to be to feel their best, to have their energy levels up until their brain fog goes away. That, I have to say, is my biggest plus, my biggest victory with the iodine. The brain fog is gone. Like all the cobweb parts in the back of my brain, I can actually think clearly now. That was really beginning to worry me after my little carb experiment. Experiment is done and over. I'm good. So that has been a huge victory for me, especially with my mental health. A lot of people have reported that their type 2 diabetes is under control with just iodine alone. Again, that tells me that there's something else going on. I wonder if iodine helps to affect the insulin receptor. There has to be something else going on with why 50 milligrams a day of iodine could reverse type 2 diabetes. Like that blows my mind. So that gets me really excited about what else iodine can do. So I would recommend that you go read the book or listen to the book before you do anything. Dr. Brownstein recommends that you start the companion nutrients 2 weeks before you start the iodine. And then he starts his patients on the high dose of iodine, the 50 milligrams, and almost none of them have any issues with those companion nutrients. Whereas Lynn Farrow has worked with a lot of people who are so sensitive that all they can do is put 1 drop of iodine on their heel. And that is the only way that they can start the detox process. So how you are, there's no way to tell as to whether or not you, one, if you need it, how much you need, and what your symptoms are going to be when you're detoxing. Briar Rose, iodine patch test. Okay, I just found out some stuff about this. That is kind of an okay thing to do because Richard got some on his finger and he absorbed it really fast. So we were like, oh, yeah, there you go. It totally proves it. The iodine patch test can be indicative of whether or not you are low on iodine, but it can also be indicative of whether or not you're dehydrated, or if you have a lotion or a soap on you that kind of created a film that prevented you from soaking in the iodine. So then you could look at that and be like, see, it didn't soak in. I'm totally fine. When actually it's just the film that's on your skin. So there's a lot of things that can basically nullify that patch test. Did it rub off on your clothes at all? And it's a dark color, so you don't know that it came off, something like that. So the best way to find out is to find an iodine literate doctor, because there's actually continuing education that doctors can receive to teach them the new protocols for iodine. And then they can do the testing and they can interpret the tests, because the first test a lot of times will show that you actually aren't iodine deficient because of how much comes out versus how much they put in. So yeah, you're good. You're absorbing everything we want you to. But they said what actually happens is that because a lot of the receptors are atrophied or they're plugged, it looks like your body isn't uptaking any because it's already full. Well, it's full of other stuff. And that's the problem. So when they repeat the test a few months later, then it'll show that, yeah, you were deficient and your results will go down. And so it's kind of a process, just like with this diet. It's not a quick fix overnight, Amazon delivered 2 days later. You gotta be patient. Manuel says chicken is high in omega-6. Yeah, it is, and it's higher for sure, especially if it comes from the store. If you get pastured chicken, it is lower, but some people can handle it and some people can't. So finding out what works for you, if that's all you can afford, please eat the chicken and the hot dogs. Karen says, good to know. Thank you. I was thinking of getting some grass-fed finished. I'll stick with Walmart hamburger for now then. So we are getting our cow. I say this, everyone assumes I'm getting a live one. Our butchered cow, there we go, on Tuesday. This one, the hanging weight was 1,100 pounds. He gave us the biggest cow that he had. We are going to get probably 700 pounds of meat, right around there, once they remove the bones and most of the fat and all of that. So we're going to end up with about 700 pounds, and it worked up to $3.19 a pound. That is what we are going to end up paying. If you have the ability to buy locally, to go in with some friends on purchasing a cow, I highly recommend that you do that. I suggest that you make friends with your ranchers, because food prices are going up in the grocery stores, but my rancher has not raised his prices. Our meat is still $3.19 a pound. Even though inflation has hit in the grocery stores, we aren't having to deal with that on the one-to-one level. So I highly recommend that you try to find a local rancher that you can become friends with, because sometimes you go to the store and the grocery stores are a little low on some food. If you have the ability to get a freezer of some kind or go in with friends that do have one, I really suggest that you start looking into doing that if at all possible. Yeah, grass-fed, grass-finished. Some of them taste good. Some of them really don't. And we literally bought an entire cow. And it became dog food. Chicken is still not as bad as eating Doritos. Yeah, I always say Cheetos. So Doritos, Cheetos, same thing. Chicken is definitely preferable to that stuff. Hello, first time listening on a live Q&A. Very informative. Hello, Melinda. It's nice to see you here. Loved your video on iodine. Do you know anyone who has felt benefits from iodine for migraines? Actually, yes. Oh, who was it? One of the people in my Mighty network, I think. They were complaining about the fact that they still had migraines and they were still dealing with them. And I think the iodine has reduced the migraines, at least the severity of them. And I want to say in the book, they talk about that as well, In the iodine crisis, they go through a lot of testimonials of what the iodine has done for people. So I would absolutely say that it's worth checking into and worth trying. And if it doesn't work, experiment over and you've learned something, just like with me and my little carb experiment. Lesson learned. No, I'm good. I got both book and listen below, but one purchase after seeing Amy's vlog on iodine was The Iodine Crisis by Lynn Farrow. Yes. Your store is working? Oh, good. I'm glad the store is working because someone said in YouTube that it wasn't working. It was just a blank page. I was like, of course, because I'm talented like that. I struggle, y'all. You know what's funny, Briar Rose? I wish they would not feed them corn and soy too. And we have discovered that when we give our dogs the front quarters of the venison during deer season and we just we eat the whole thing out there for the dogs, when the dogs aren't eating it, because they take about 2 days to eat it, the chickens go out there and they eat it. And all through that season, my hens are laying these eggs with these giant yolks, and they are almost this ruby red color. They are gorgeous and they taste fantastic. And the chickens are healthier and livelier than they are the rest of the year when they're eating all of that really rich venison. So I think that, yeah, they're supposed to have a lot more protein than we feed them, especially with those grains and things like that. My beef price for the hanging weight was $3.19. Let me pull up the picture. It was $3.19, I want to say. Let me see, he wrote it down. 1,176 pounds hanging weight times $3.15 a pound. So the total is $3,704, $3,704 for the full pound, the full cow. So that was that. Yeah. I wish they wouldn't give him corn and soy either. And then it would help the planet to stop growing so much corn and soy. Oh, yes. No, the cheap chicken, it stinks when you cook it. Like you can smell how the animals were raised. It is nasty. Yup. You're very welcome for answering your question. I'm a vet tech school, and my professor said keto is a fad and is bad for you. It's your body's thinking it's being starved and eating your fat. So my response to that, if our bodies are so smart and they don't want to eat fat, why is it that we store our energy reserves on our body as fat and not carbs? If our body preferred to run on carbs, why don't we store the energy, the excess energy, as carbs so that our body could access the one that it wants? But I mean, that would make more sense that if we were meant to run on carbs, then we would store them as carbs, but we don't. We store it as fat. So that's the way I answer that when someone says, how do you know we're supposed to be running on fat and not carbs? Because our body stores fat and not carbs. That's kind of my first clue. But just a thought. Yes, you're very welcome. Ken Berry just did a video about the AHA now saying that low carb is better for us. They didn't use the word keto. Y'all, keto is a 4-letter word. Do not use the word keto. I say whole foods, low sugar diet. Because let's face it, carbs break down into glucose and fructose, and that is sugar. So I eat very low sugar. I just don't break it down to exactly what I'm eating or what my children eat for that matter, because the doctors kind of freak out. Progress at least. Excellent cow price, right? Find a local rancher and make friends with them. Like he literally calls us every couple of months and goes, hey, I can squeeze you in February. You want something? Yeah, I do. And we literally are going to run out in like 3 days. So it's going to be perfect timing. The egg cartons in the store. Hens aren't vegetarian. That is so deceptive when they tell you vegetarian fed chickens. Chickens aren't vegetarians. They eat bugs. They want to eat bugs and they thrive eating bugs. So vegetarian fed means that they're only feeding them corn and soy and grains and things like that. And if you look at the yolk color and the difference between vegetarian fed and properly pastured chickens, there's no comparison. The golden amber color is gorgeous. What are you doing that's causing oxalate dumping? I can see that your autocorrect loves you about as much as it loves me. Your Pilates dumping. That's really funny. So oxalates build up in our systems when we consume too much of them. So let's say for you personally, because everyone could be different, your personal oxalate threshold every day that your body can detox properly is 10. We're just going to pick a random number. Well, let's say that you did like I did and you went high veg keto for the first year of your, low carb journey, and you took in anywhere from 50 to 100 oxalates every single day. But your body can only detox and get rid of 10 every single day. That's the most it can get rid of. It's going to get rid of that 10 every single day. The rest of it that you're eating gets stored. It gets stored in your kidneys. It gets stored in your salivary glands up in your scalp. It gets stored in your joints. It gets stored in your heart as well. Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons that you can end up with calcification in your heart. Calcium oxalate calcification in your heart, that happens too. So your body stores up the extra until it can get to dumping all of that stuff. For some people, when they stop eating all of those oxalates, their body goes, okay, good, now it's time for us to get rid of them. But it doesn't just release your 10 units for the day. Sometimes it'll release 100 units for the day. And it'll all go into your blood system. And it can make you feel like crap. I mean, it is terrible and it's really hard. They can have gout flare-ups. Sometimes from oxalates, it'll start coming out in your eyes. So when you're taking in a lot, you're storing up a lot. If you stop taking it all at once, some people have severe oxalate dumping. It can come out in the form of a rash. It can come out in your teeth, in your gums. Vanessa Spina, ketogenic girl, hers comes out in her salivary glands. So her face puffs up like she just had dental work and she can barely talk because the pain is so excruciating from the oxalates. So oxalate dumping, to slow it down, you would then consume a little bit of oxalates, like five units, whatever that is, because it's not as much as your body can detox in one day. It's less than that. So then your body will slow down the releasing of the oxalates to slowly get rid of it. And that is what causes oxalate dumping. For some reason, years 3 to 5 are a little rough on oxalate dumping. I do not know why. I do not know the science behind that, but I have heard Sally say that, and I have heard other people in the oxalate forums online say the same thing. So welcome to my year 3, right there on my face, little jerk face. Up to 6 drops of the iodine per day. I started about 3 weeks ago. So far, so good. I haven't noticed anything fantastic. I think if I do the conversions right, I would be up to like 50 drops of the 2%. Maybe. I don't remember. I'd have to ask Richard because he's the one that had it all figured out. But for some people, I have some people in my Mighty Network that are up to that high, and it took them that high before they started feeling any difference whatsoever. And some people don't really need that much. I think that they really would be okay with the lower amounts. If you aren't restricting calories on keto, why would our bodies think we were starving? Yeah, there's a lot. Oh, speaking of which, someone commented on one of my YouTube videos and she asked me to watch another YouTuber's video talking about how keto ruined her thyroid. It is Christina Oman talking about how keto destroyed her thyroid, and they wanted my opinion on it. And she's talking about how if you are in ketosis for too long, that it can prevent your body from turning T4 into T3, because when you are in ketosis, that is not possible. And she links a whole bunch of stuff down below. I have not finished watching the whole video yet, but I am trying to keep an open mind. And I know that we are not all the same. And for some people, it does happen. And she's very clear about that. She says, a lot of people don't have a problem with this, but some people do. And I'm just sharing with you what my journey is. The first question I was asking myself was, how much was she eating on her ketogenic diet? And I actually just did a live on this on Facebook in my private group the other day about undereating, chronic undereating on a keto or a carnivore diet, and how that is actually one of the biggest culprits for thyroid problems and many of these other issues. And I talked about reverse dieting and getting back up, and why your body thinks, okay, well, if you're only going to give me 1,200 calories, then we have to lower our metabolic processes down to 1,200 calories to be able to function. It's not optimal. Like, that is not optimal for most people. And so those functions lower down and they don't perform as well as they could. So I talked about it in my live. I think I might make a YouTube video on it as well, about how to find out how much you should be consuming every day, because most people are under eating in this way of eating. I kind of wonder if she was under eating and that is what actually affected her thyroid. I need to watch the rest of it, because in the solution part of her journey, she talks about reverse dieting. So I'm not sure if it's actually being in ketosis that hurt her thyroid, or if it was the under eating that hurt her thyroid. I think I have to watch the rest of the video. But when you say that, Cindy, about why would our bodies think we were starving? Exactly. You got to be eating enough. And I am classic chronic undereater. I will eat like one sandwich of the PSMF bread. And just to give you guys an example, it's that big, and I'll be good for the day. I won't feel hungry, but that doesn't mean that I'm not hungry. So I have to be intentional about my eating, and I have to track to make sure that I'm not under eating. Isn't the first time I've heard that my PCP said being in keto will make me go, right? Rabbit starvation. She's no longer my doctor. Bye, love. Have you any of those books? I have an opinion of the primal diet. Let me write that down. Now write that down. What was that from? Oh, the movie Blast from the Past. That's what that was. And she says, now write that down. That's one of my kids' favorite movies right now. Jonas? Ooh, okay. My autocorrect is not letting me write this. AAJONUS. No, I really need that. Leave it alone. So I will have to look up. That is quite the name. Vonderplanitz. Interesting. I will have to look that up, and I will have to do some research on that, because I have not heard of that individual nor his primal diet. But I will absolutely get back to you guys on that. And that wraps up my hour of yapping. So I will let you guys go and get back to hopefully your nice, quiet, relaxing Saturday. I have 3 people that I need to look into. So thank you so much for the ideas and for the questions and for hanging out with me, guys. It was fantastic. You can't order the audiobook in the Amazon store. It doesn't give that option. Just head to Audible. I might have a way to do that. So Gloria, I am going to leave my elevator alone. I love you. You're very welcome. Gloria, I think I'm going to do the video on how to find out what you should be eating every day, and then how to set your macros for those people who aren't sure if you know that you are a chronic undereater and that you have tanked your metabolism because of that, what the steps are that you need to do to fix that. I just said it in my YouTube private group, but I think I'm going to do a video on it too because there's a lot of people. Yes, please go like the video. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me, and I will see you later. Bye.